Okay, we are live on air with the Phys Ed Summit 3.0. My name is Naomi Hartle, and this is my fourth session I've done today. You can check out my t-shirt, Bring Learning Back, Team Phys Ed. So that's this t-shirt, so stay tuned for the next one to see what the next t-shirt's gonna be. We'd like to thank you so much for participating in the Phys Ed Summit 3.0, whether you're just tuning in or you've been a part of it since the very beginning like we have, all the way since, well, depending on where you are in the world, but for me, I was up at 4 a.m. So going strong, no coffee yet, this is good. We'd like to also thank you for joining in for our 24-hour back to back to back to back to back to back, 24 more times for our global event. We could not make this day happen without you, and we are very humbled by the outpouring of support and promotion that you've put on for this conference. And you know, for every person that you've told, you've impacted hundreds of more students. And that's really what this is about, you know, pushing best practices, effective education, professional development, and advocacy really forward and trying to get the word out about how amazing Phys Ed is. This is an amazing PU community, and we really are excited to be a part of it and that everybody wants to be a part of this as well. Reminder that we are using technology and sometimes things just don't work. Sometimes it just doesn't clue in for us. We have a few videos that we're going to show you. We have a couple different ideas as to how we want to show you that. So please let us know in the tozzle if it's going to work or not. There is a little bit of a delay, so we'll try and wait a little bit longer if you are tuning in. After the summit, we have a feedback survey that we would like to share with you. That will be around, we're going to do our Phys Ed team. So yeah, you can tune in. I think it's 8 a.m. I can't remember times anymore. 8 a.m. Eastern time for the Phys Ed Summit team debrief, just to kind of talk about what we experienced, different things that we've learned, and talk a little bit about maybe some thoughts that we have for the Phys Ed Summit 4.0. After that, we'll push out the Phys Ed survey. You can collect PD hours and get a certificate for this as long as you fill out that survey and give us some feedback so we can track it and make Phys Ed Summit 4.0 better than 3.0. Before I introduce our presenters to you, I'm going to share my screen so that I can show you the tozzle. Can you see my screen? Betsy and Brian, can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, yep. Perfect, good. I was like, crickets. All right, so this is the tozzle screen. You already know this because this is how you accessed the video. But this corner here, we have our back channel. This is where I will be posting questions. If you have any questions, I'll make sure to ask Betsy and Brian to make sure that we get this information to you and you get a lot out of it. Let's make it as interactive as possible. Betsy and Brian have also added a ton of resources to this document. So please make sure that you check it out. There's so many different videos, just different resources that you can check out. They also added did I miss it? The how to access equipment. Oh, maybe it's not on this one. Anyways, I need to load it. There is a spot when they talk about certain equipment, who you can talk to in order to find that equipment. There you go. So right here, so these are the people that you can email in order to access that, and I'll let Brian and Betsy talk about that a little bit further. Okay. Let me see if I can just get out of here. Stop sharing my screen. Stop. Okay, and now let's introduce our presenters. Betsey Caldwell has been teaching physical education for over 20 years in Vermont and Massachusetts. I almost got it. I was practicing that before. She currently is a graduate student and current Vermont APERD president. Betsy has presented at the state, district, and national level her whole career and feels fortunate to give back to the profession by presenting and volunteer service in the state and district level. Hashtag playing it forward for the future. Brian Godfrey is a Vermont 2014 Elementary Teacher of the Year. Is also a physical education teacher at the Richmond Elementary School in Vermont. Brian has presented at the state level and is looking forward to presenting at the district and national levels in the future. Okay, I am passing it off to you two. I'm going to mute my mic and stop talking. You're up.
Hey, Naomi, thanks for introducing us and thanks for putting on this awesome summit. Really excited to be here. I want to go into a little bit, is there an echo at all? I hear
It's not bad. You hear a little bit, but it's not that bad.
Because I'm still hearing you talk.
We can hear the 10-second delay.
Okay, so let me check and see if others can hear it, or if you're viewing right now, please let us know in the toggle if you are hearing an echo. If so, we might have to change areas that we are in. I don't hear it on my end, so that might even just be in your headphones, which is really annoying. So you might even try unplugging your headphones and see what happens.
All right, I'm going to take my headphones out and hope that you guys can hear me okay. Oh, it's even weirder, I hear myself speak, so.
It is weird when you hear yourself speak.
All right.
Why don't I just unplug the headphone jack and see what happens?
There we go.
Okay, how's it going now?
Yeah, we still hear the...
We have a 10-second delay here.
Okay, just take your headphones out completely. Just unplug it from the jack and don't use the headphones. Let's try that.
All right, I'm gonna do that because that was driving me crazy. So Brian Godfrey, I'm from Richmond Elementary School here in Vermont, and it's really cool to be here talking about snowboarding. And a couple years ago, I never would have thought I would have been doing this because I don't snowboard at all. But the reason I got interested in this was I really wanted my kids to have access to a variety of lifetime sports. We have kids who have never skied or snowboarded or had swim lessons or biking, and we're trying to look at get away a little bit from some of the team sports and try to hone in a little bit on some sports that kids would do as an adult. And I was doing a survey in my school, and about half my kids had never been snowboarding, and we have a ski area about a mile away from our school. And I was trying to figure out, well, how can I actually get snowboarding? Hold on, we got nothing popping up here. So I saw this video on our local news about Burton Snowboards doing a PE snowboarding kit and at a local school, and I'm like, I got to do this. I gotta figure out how to get this happening in my school. So I called Burton up the next day and spoke with Jeff Beliba, who is a VP at Burton, and said, hey, that looked awesome. I really want to be part of this. So, make a long story short, we got talking, and after a couple months, he finally came up to our school and did a little demo of the equipment, and it was really cool. And fast forward 2 years, we did snowboarding last year here, and now Jeff is kind of going all over the world with this PE snowboarding thing, and it's really cool. I wanted to talk a little bit about Jeff before we got into the equipment and some of the stuff that he's done. So I told you I'd take over the mouse. Sorry about that.
So can you hear us okay, Naomi, as we continue? All right.
I'm going to share my screen and do a little slideshow here. So this is Jeff Beliba, and about, I would say maybe 10 years ago, he had a son who was like maybe about 4 or 5 years old, and they really didn't have snowboarding equipment or terrain that was appropriate for kids. So he was just pulling his kid around on like a rope, and he got him thinking about like, well, how can I get more kids at a younger age to be able to snowboard? And so he started working on boots and the terrain and the boards, and developed this thing called the Riglet reel. And he came up with this idea of Riglet parks and learned to ride. And it was him and the Burton team, and then looked at adapting the mountain to be more accommodating to little kids. We're going to show you a quick video about some of the on snow stuff that Burton and Jeff have developed over the last few years, and then we'll get into some of the actual PE snowboarding in the gym. So we're going to show you a quick video.
And I might add that that's Jeff right there with his son, who is now in middle school or high school now, actually.
Yeah, he's, I think, a sophomore, so he's probably 15, 16 years old. So our first video is about the Riglet parks on snow.
Betsey and Brian, do you want to pause the video for a second?
Yep.
Yeah, we're here. Can't hear you though. Oh, put the mic on.
There we go. So what we'll have to do is the video is put on. Oh, here, let me stop playing it, otherwise I'm going to hear myself. Okay, so do you want to share the Tozzle screen? Yeah. So unfortunately, our plan didn't work. So plan B, which is okay. And I think you guys are still muted. There we go. Yeah, so if you just want to share the Tozzle screen.
If you go to the Tozzle page,
There you go.
and you click on this video right here.
First video.
First video, the Burton experience at Riglet Park, and watch that. It's about 2 minutes long.
Perfect. So if you want to play it, because now they're probably pressing, well, they'll be pressing play in about 10 seconds or so. So yeah, you can play it. We'll play it for the whole time. So those that are watching, just watch it on your own time, and then we can come back and talk about it.
All right, so do you want me to restart it or have it play from where it was?
You might as well restart it because people will probably just be hearing it right now because there's about a 10, 15, 20 seconds.
Riglet is a concept that Burton came up with. Comes initially from the
right
device, the Riglet reel, which they
No,
add to the snowboard in the front of the board, and it gives us a lot more flexibility when it comes to teaching. The Riglet has really changed the way we teach kids because we can get them right away. I can hold the Riglet reel, throw them around, hold their front hand, get them making movements with little work from the child, and I can guide them through the whole process while doing it. So it allows for quicker progression and just more fun for the kids right away. The Riglet Park itself is designed specifically for kids between the ages of 3 to 6, and it's really the first thing of its kind in the whole world that gives these kids at this age access to snowboarding and snow sports at this age. The terrain-based teaching really helps out as well because it allows us to get the kids with both feet stacked into the board. It recreates the mountain environment right here for them in the park. So we're able to teach them two fundamental movement patterns that kids at this age need to learn, and that is vertical movement and movement foot to foot. It enables us to challenge them in different ways. It enables us to give them a variety of different exercises and things to do, but it's all in an environment that is very controlled and with safety being the #1 priority. Now it really enables them to feel when it works and when it doesn't, and it helps them to figure it out for themselves, which is a lot more powerful way of transmitting that information.
All right, so that was just a quick introduction to some of the stuff that Burton was doing prior to the PE snowboarding.
Actually, sorry, I was gonna just, I could actually hear it this time around on the screen. So I'm not sure what happened, so that's a good thing. So people, I guess, could hear it. So we're good.
Yeah. All right, so we have Jeff, kind of came up with a lot of that stuff. And then his son, when he was in 8th grade, had to do this project on ways to give back to the community. And he said, hey, Dad, I want to do something around, PE snowboarding and teach kids to, snowboard in PE. And him and his son and the Burton team kind of got together and started developing equipment. And they did a pilot project at Allenbrook School in Williston, Vermont. And I'm going to show you some quick photos of Jeff and his son and some kids from Allenbrook. So this is Jeff with the Burton Riglet pull board. You can see a couple kids being pulled across the gym floor. And it's just a board and has a little felt cover that can come on and off. And here's Jeff with his son, Jeffrey, again with a pull board. And there's some different ways you can adapt it to make it fun and exciting. And this is a kid carrying an Olympic torch. He's down he's in a flex position. And another picture of Jeff giving a high five to a kid. So that was just a quick intro that I wanted to talk about with Jeff. And he was really the one who designed a lot of this stuff. I want to give him his props for all his hard work. Betsey's going to talk a little bit about the Vermont advocacy, and then we'll actually get into the materials and some of the stuff that happened at my school. All right.
So I met Brian a couple of years ago, actually at a first tea workshop. That was my first experience of meeting Brian. And when he was teacher of the year, elementary teacher of the year for Vermont, I went right up to him and I said, "So how are you going to give back?" And he said, "Oh, I've really just started to get really into the snowboard program, and I think it would be a great way to give back to our Vermont teachers." And I was totally interested and said, "Hey, I saw that on TV from Alan Brook. I wanted a piece of it. And I think what a great way to give back to our teachers." And so we started doing some talking and some collaborating. And our biggest thing is that we really wanted to make sure that we could have access for all kids in Vermont. I like to describe Vermont as the haves and the have-nots, because we have students in our classroom who could have everything they could ever want. And then we also have students in our classroom who have nothing. They live house to house, they live paycheck to paycheck. And what a great way to give kids that opportunity to go outside and to do something they can do in their own backyard, and to be able to go out there and see what there is here in the mountains of Vermont. What a great way to be able to go out and do that.
All right, we have another video here, and this is actually taken at my school, and it's a little bit of stuff inside, stuff outside, and it kind of shows you a little bit when you're trying to think of what is PE snowboarding. It gives you a little glimpse, and then I'll kind of, after this, go specifically into some of the equipment, how the kit works, how the curriculum works, and go from there. So this is another video. I love videos from my school in Richmond.
Perfect. So what we'll do is we'll just do the YouTube thing. We'll press play, and then they'll be able to figure out which video it is in the Tozzle, and then they can search through the Tozzle and find it. Unless you want to show the Tozzle quickly in case if they can't hear the sound, then they can click on that video.
Yeah, so if you go to our Tozzle page, the next video will be this one with the two Bosu balls, the second video here. And I will play it on my screen also.
We still do, but to look at the see kids riding some felt boards and talk. We got 300 kids in the school, and we did a little survey last year. About half the kids have never been to now. And we have coffee ski area right down the street. They didn't know how to start, they didn't know where to begin, and we kind of knocked down that issue. And now we've got kids in Kansas that are exploring ski riding for the first time. How this program got started was my son, who was in the 8th grade, he wanted to share snowboarding with the elementary school. The kids have so much fun when they do it. It's really different from what else you would do in PE. It allows the kids to be really creative. I saw the magic, and I knew I needed to figure out how can we do this with one PE teacher so they can run it just like they do basketball or any of these other sports. Jeff and I started talking about, well, you're actually going to do this as a unit. So not just a one-day thing, what would it look like? We started working on a curriculum and different ways to make it really interesting to kids, but still teach the basics of snowboarding so that hopefully they should be trying what we do with gym class to the slopes. And right away, these kids are getting a sensation of standing sideways, all while they're having to balance. They have straight movement.
Yeah, but I figured I would just kind of go over them real quick and then do the slideshow.
The opportunities are endless with how creative you can be with this program. And the kids can go from learning the fundamentals and the basics inside the gymnasium to being out on the playground,
So Betsy and I were talking before we started doing this, and we were really lucky to kind of start working with Burton because they had so many amazing resources with not just snowboarding equipment, but with videos and technology to kind of get a lot of the ideas out there. So I'm going to show you some of the equipment, and we have another slideshow. We'll show you a little bit just with some of the boards with kids on them and stuff. So the boards are actually real snowboards, and if you can see this right here, it's this is a smaller one for K through 2nd grade, and it has a little Riglet reel, which is this piece right here, and has a pull handle, and it just pulls out. One side is a felt pad, and then the other side is snowboard. When I first started teaching this, I just had these boards right here. But since then, Burton's actually introduced some larger boards so that kids in middle school can snowboard. And I'll show you real quick. This is a throwback board, you can see. And this is actually a real snowboard that they snowboarded with in the mid-'80s, some of the first snowboards that came out. And if you notice, it was pre-bindings. So there's no bindings on there, and the kids just put their feet on it. And in the gym, it has a pad on it. It has a nice little handle that kids can hold on to while they're riding. And then it has another pull handle. And to show you easy to get the cover off, you just kind of pull this here, and it pulls right off. And then you have a snowboard that can go into snow. And these work great. There's big ones, there's small ones. This is a spooner board. You can see it. It has a little some grip for your feet. It has a kind of a dome shape to it, and the kids can move around and do tricks and all kinds of stuff on it. So you get spooner boards, and the last one is you get just a regular flat board, and it comes with foam blocks, or I put pool noodles under it. And what I actually ended up using was Bosu balls, or Bosu balls. Right? If you know what a Bosu ball is, it has a flat base with a blow-up ball, and the board went on it, and the kids could, have really a lot more realistic feel of being on a snowboard. So the kit came with 6 of these, and 6 of these spooners, and then 3 small boards and 3 of the big boards. So there's a lot of snowboards. I found that with the equipment, depending on the size of the kids, I try to match them up size-wise. But usually if you had a bigger kid, it would take 2 smaller kids to pull them. So when I broke up into stations, I'd usually have 3 kids on a pull board so that you have 2 pullers and then 1 rider. I'm going to show you a couple pictures of kids actually on the boards, and I will share with you my screen. So this is a PE snowboarding kit right here. Comes in a really nice bag, has all the boards in it, has a grab mat game, which I didn't show you, which is kind of like a twister board with snowboards on it, so kids can practice their jumps and grabs and stuff. First board that I showed you right there is the Riglet board with the hover cover. It has a nice pull handle on it. This is an older picture of one. I didn't have a newer one. They've since made a nicer handle on it. This is just a Riglet board on some foam blocks. And again, I put a Bosu ball underneath it, and I have a picture later. I'll show you. And then you get your spooner boards and your throwback board. And here is the grab mat game. So those are kind of the basic materials that come in it. And actually, I have another video I'm going to show you, which will be all of the boards kind of in action. And this is a video from Allenbrook School, and they kind of show some of the kids on the boards and everything. And if you're on the Tozzle page, it would be this video right here, Burton brings snowboarding to gym class. It's about 2 minutes, 20 seconds long.
Brian, can you share how you get this equipment?
Yeah, so what happened with me, I'll share my screen here so you can see me a little better. I just called up Burton, and I said, hey, this is really cool. I want to do this at my school. And Jeff gave me a couple kits, and he gave us, I want to say it was about $25,000 worth of real snowboards, boots, and helmets for all of our kindergartners. So they gave me a bunch of stuff.
Wow.
And then I kind of paid it forward. And all of my friends that were in the area, so I had about 10 PE teachers that I was friends with that were pretty close to my school. And I just donated all the equipment so that you could have it for a few weeks, and you could have some of the real boards and just practice it in your classroom. So I tried to get them out there as much as possible. And I think last year with those 2 kids, I was like 2,000 or 3,000 kids were able to use those 2 kits of boards.
Very cool.
So it was really good opportunity for me to collaborate with my fellow colleagues and pay it forward for all the nice stuff that Jeff gave us.
Yeah.
But getting back to your question,
making a phone call, right? Making a
what's
phone
that?
call.
Yeah, I started with phone call, but now I bet a lot of people are getting phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
The best bet is to email me. There's on the Caldwell page. There's Scott Greason, I think is his last name, from Burton.com, and he can give you more information. Mm-hmm. I found the best way is to kind of partner with a local, ski area, a local group to help, split the cost of stuff, mm-hmm. And try to do it that way. But I'm sure if you're really passionate about getting it, Burton will find a way to get it to your school.
Cool. So very similar to the First Tee program. With the First Tee program, you find a partner, and that partner helps you purchase these things. And this is, we're kind of going around our agenda here a little bit, but it's a good way to segue in now that what Burton is willing to do is to help you partner with your local ski resort that's nearby you, or find you someone, help find you someone that will be able to make this happen for you.
Cool.
All right.
Awesome. Thanks.
So again, if you go to your Caldwell page, we're going to watch this one with Kelly Clark, and this is a video from Allen Brook School in Williston. All right, so that was just some of the equipment here, and let me get out of the screen so you can see me again. Can you hear me now, Naomi? All right, so getting down to what a lesson looks like, what the curriculum looks like. There's a curriculum that comes with it, and it's 8 lessons, and it begins in the gym, and then it has 6 lessons in the gym, and each lesson's meant twice a week, 40-minute classes. And the boards that the kit can accommodate, I want to say it's about 30 kids. So actually, I was able to write this last summer, and the curriculum that it comes with has nice pictures of all the materials and whatnot. I don't want to go into this too much just because there's a lot to it, but it has nice lesson plans and games and everything like that to play. But it's kind of, go ahead.
I was going to just interject. Brian and Burton are always working on this curriculum, and we've had a workshop that we did here in the state with other teachers and got some great feedback from them. And so it's always a work in progress. It isn't something that's, always set in stone. So it's something that's continually developing and continually becoming better and better.
Right. And then kind of going into the curriculum of what you're really teaching. So I know it may be hard on a webcam to see my feet and whatnot, but you're teaching a snowboard stance. It's a nice balance stance. Some of your skills you're looking at is a foot to foot. Oops, can you get back to that screen so I can see it? And which is basically you stand on one foot and you're leaning one way and you're leaning next. So it's foot to foot, kind of when you're getting ready to go over a jump or something. There's flexion and extension, so you're getting tall and you're getting small. There's toe to heel, so when you're looking at steering your snowboard, you go on your toes, you go on your heels, and helps twist the board. You're looking at doing all different types of grabs and whatnot, so that each lesson builds on the next. And then once the kids have the broad scope of your basic snowboard skills, you add other manipulatives from your gym. So for example, in a lesson, I might have something like some kind of target game going on where the kids have a ball that they need to throw at a target while they're on a snowboard riding, or they might have a floor hockey stick and they're going to shoot a ball at a goal, or they may have a basketball hoop that they may shoot at or dribble at. So
let's show them those pictures we have.
Yeah. Share it over there.
So here's the grab mat game. It gives kids the opportunity to practice the grabs that they have. It's very similar to some of the Scholastics where they have the dice and they're in the center and they're playing the game and practicing the grabs. They're jumping, they're twisting. It is on a flat surface, so it is easier for them to practice those different manipulative skills. Yeah.
So we have some kids on some spooners, and they look like they're going maybe toe to heel, and they're kind of trying to lean on their toes, back on their heels. This is just a student learning to ride in a nice snowboard stance, and she might go and get tall, right, which she is right now. She may go down and get small, or she might jump. She might ollie, which is how you say jump in snowboard talk, which I learned recently. Another nice snowboard stance here. This is just another manipulative that I would put down so a kid can ride over something.
And if you notice, you can see the different levels of the kids and their comfort level. We saw the last slide had the student with his really kind of straight leg. That's where he's comfortable right now. As he becomes more comfortable, his knees would bend, and he's gonna have his weight a little bit more centered on the board instead of tall and stiff.
This is a girl, she's doing a nice tail grab. She's in a nice flexion position. Again, you have two pullers here, a nice snowboard stance. I added some hula hoops and some cones so kids learn to ride under stuff. And I try to get the imaginary play going where I'd have kids think, hey, you're going through a tunnel or something like that. We'd have pool noodles on the ground, so looking at having maybe bumps or jumps, different things they're going to ride over. And when they actually go over this, they need to do a grab or a foot to foot to lift their board off the ground. This is the Bosu ball that I was talking about, which I loved using that with the snowboards. You can also use the foam blocks, which is what it comes with. But I found this allowed kids to have a little more a realistic feel of being on the boards. And there's a video I didn't have in there of some other manipulatives, but there's all kinds of stuff. Just use your imagination of what you can do, have in your gym closet, your PE closet, to see how you can make this newer and cooler and just be creative. I think every teacher has their own creativity they would bring to this. The lesson plans that it has kind of lays the groundwork of what to do, but feel free to add stuff to have more manipulatives. You probably have things that I don't have, and vice versa, to make it even cooler, so gymnastics mats or what have you. So the lessons, it has 6 lessons that I planned. So I planned it to go for a month, 3 weeks inside, and then I took all of the hover covers off and we went outside. And to give you a sense of what we use for terrain, we have a flat soccer field, and our hill was really, really small. Like, you don't want to begin on a big hill or a big pitch. There's a really small hill that allowed them to get just a little bit of forward movement going, riding sideways. And we had like a little obstacle course they made out in the snow, where they would go in and around things, and then they would do some straight runs. And since they're not strapped in, you really couldn't do a lot of other tricks or whatnot, but they were perfectly happy doing some straight runs, riding on flat ground, doing some obstacle courses. But inside, I didn't use helmets, but outside, we had helmets that we put on, and Burton gave us some. But if you didn't have your own helmets, you could, hopefully borrow some hockey helmets or stuff like that to use, or snowboard helmets, hopefully. I said hockey, but. Yeah. So that's kind of the curriculum, and if I'll share my page one more time, I'm kind of getting addicted to doing this. If you go to the Tozzle page, after the video, so you see a picture of the kit here, and there's a couple PDF files. The first one on the left, the PE snowboarding curriculum, would be the indoor curriculum with a 2-lesson progression for outside. And it has all the skills, all the materials, all the full lesson plans. You can just check it out right there. And then on the right is another guide that I wrote with a friend of mine, Greg Andrews, and Barbara Ann Cochran. And it's a skiing and snowboarding guide, and it's an on snow. And the ultimate goal is that kids will learn to snowboard in PE class, and then partner with a local resort and learn to snowboard at a resort. So this guide that I wrote, and you can check it out, I won't go into it now, but it just shows a nice progression of how to teach snowboarding if you have no idea what you're doing, and it's pretty well done. And just check it out if you kind of want to see. It has skiing and snowboarding, but just check that out. And I'm going to turn it over to Betsey real quick.
So as Brian and I continue to collaborate, we thought, well, how are we going to be able to play it forward and bring it to not only to our Vermont students outside of our schools, but also to our Vermont constituents and our teachers, our members of VAPORD, our rec leaders, our college students. So we did a little bit of talking and said, hey, we're going to do a workshop. And Brian's like, okay, so how long do we want it to be? So we had a little bit of talking back and forth, and it was so funny because I do remember Brian's like, we're going to do a whole day workshop? And I'm like, yeah, we're going to do a whole day workshop. And he's like, well, how are we going to do that? Well, I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. So the cool thing about how the whole day workshop worked out was that not only did we have a morning piece, and I'm going to bring it to some,
You share the screen.
I'll share the screen here. But we figured that how we were going to do this, and not only did it involve our board, but we also involved, as you can see here, it was VAPORD, King Street Center, and Burton. We all got together. We did a day-long workshop that was intensive teaching in the morning from 8 to noon for the teachers. Brian and I went through his whole curriculum. We gave teachers an opportunity to get down to the gym at the King Street Center and practice with the equipment, feel it, touch it. So for us to be sitting here and talking to you is really tough because, to be able to really get into this curriculum, to be able to see this stuff, you need to be able to feel it, to touch it, to do it. And so as the day went, we had lunch, and then we did the best thing. We invited kids to come in. As you can see here, there's a picture of some King Street youth. We had about 25 King Street youth come in. We had teachers, we had college students attend this workshop. So as you can see, it was a great opportunity for everyone to get together, to learn, and to do the best thing that I like to do, which is to put the practice into action. So we all know that we learn by doing, and by being able to learn in the morning and then be able to put it into action in the afternoon, it really made it nice and solid for teachers and for the student teachers that we had there, which were college students. We actually did have a college sophomore who was there too, so I thought that was pretty cool that they signed up. We had a wide variety of youth. We had kids anywhere from kindergarten to 5th grade. They come to the King Street Center after school. It's an after-school program similar to the Boys and Girls Club. It's privately funded. It's a great place. They do great things for kids. There's absolutely no cost for kids. And it was just a wonderful day. What we have next on our advocacy scene, Brian and I talked about, now we've met the needs of some of the teachers. How great would it be to be able to meet the needs of college students? And we're looking into doing either a full day or a half day workshop at one of the universities nearby, and to be able to have those college students that are right there be able to see it, to touch it, and to put it into action, just like we did with the in March with the Vapor membership. So we're looking forward to that.
And I want to make sure I give another shout out to Jeff Oliva, Sean Kavanaugh, Alyssa Talbot from Burton Snowboards, because they've just been awesome to work with. Every time I call or text or email, like, they respond immediately. If I need equipment, if something breaks, they hook me up. They've been a great resource for Richmond Elementary School. And I want to make sure I mention my principal, Mike Barry, because whenever I come to him with a crazy idea that I want to do something cool, I want to what we actually ended up doing was we did PE snowboarding, and then we partnered with our local ski area, Cochrane's, and on Fridays our kids went up skiing and snowboarding. And this was we're going into our 3rd year of that. So now kids on Fridays, 11:30 to 2, we have PE on the slopes, and our really little kids, we're doing PE in the backfield and on the snowboarding in the soccer field, and it's just been great. But Mike has my principal, I'm lucky to have someone that advocates for me and allows me to do all the things I want to do, because without the administrative support, it's really hard to get things off the ground. And I really encourage any of you out there listening to try PE snowboarding, to connect with your local advocates, to try to get some of the stuff in there, and try to get your kids outside. Get them on the mountain, get them on the snow, and get them prepared for life as an adult to be healthy and active.
And most importantly, as Brian said, not only do we have PE in our gymnasium where we have the 4 walls, it's safe in here. It's a controlled environment. When we take them outside, it's a controlled environment, but it's a totally different environment. Growing up, I was always outdoors, and Brian was too. And we look at today's youth. What'd you do after school? Oh, I went home. What'd you do? Oh, I laid on the couch. Well, this is a great opportunity where they learn to snowboard in physical education class. They can take that home with them, and they can practice it right in their own backyard. They don't need to have that big, huge hill. They can go and practice on a piece of cardboard and be perfectly happy with that.
Yeah, and what a way to have kids. Part of being a physically literate individual is to be able to be in a wide variety of environments, right? Exactly. Snow is, not everybody has access to snow, but even if there's anything that you can take away from this presentation, even if you can't do, snowboarding, advocate, find something that you can do that you haven't done before, and contact your local stakeholders that can help you with that, right? You're able to contact Burton, and they support you in that process. What other companies and organizations want to be able to do that just to get kids outside, get them moving, and get them trying the sport or trying the activity or whatever it is, right? So I think it's a powerful message when you come and you show some of the things that you've been able to do with your students that's different, but takes them and puts them in an environment that people don't normally do, right? I mean, I'm from Canada, so there's no such thing as a snow day. You take kids outside when it's minus 25 degrees Celsius, get outside and play, right? I mean, there's a cutoff. Can't remember what the cutoff is. It was probably minus 25 degrees Celsius, which is very cold in Fahrenheit. But, right, you get kids and you put them outside, right? You go outside, you need to be able to do this because you're going to do this for your life, right? You need to be active in all different environments. And, you know, even, like I said before, even if it's not snow, it's get them outside, get them moving. I was a kid that was, mom would send us outside, close the door and say, go play. I lived on a farm, so we climbed trees. We had to be creative, and we had to make our own fun. And so many times, I mean, I love my technology. I do, right? I love it. It's part of my job. But I don't personally disconnect enough that I need to and get outside and do what I need to do outside. But I think it's very important, especially in a day and age where it's so available and kids just do it. We really need to provide them with opportunities that allow them to get them outside and try something new so they're not scared to try it. Sorry, that was long-winded.
We started, and I know Betsey's done this before, we did biking. This year I'm really pushing to swim lessons in PE class.
Mm-hmm.
So you just kind of have a healthy balance of really lifetime sports and not have it be fully team sports. So have some individual sports out there. So those kids that aren't really digging playing soccer or basketball can go play golf, tennis, swim, bike, snowboard. So there's just a variety of things. So you're getting as many kids possible inspired to move and get ready to move as a kid and as an adult.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They're going to want to do, you know, outside. I was talking just this past week to our great friend Andy Hare from Australia, and he's like, well, you know, we live quite a ways from the slopes, but I can't wait for your presentation, Andy. Hope you're watching. He's like, but you know what? I'm going to do skateboarding because skateboarding is really big here. And he's like, but you know what? I can take what I learned from you and put it right into my skateboarding lesson. And that's what good teachers that are playing it forward, that are advocates of our profession are doing, are being able to take what they learn and bringing it back home and changing it a little bit, tweaking it to fit into your environment. That's what counts. And, you know, Andy was saying that, you know, 5% of the schools actually take their kids to the mountains of private and public schools in Australia. And, you know, to be able to be part of that 5% or be able to, you know, he could do this unit in Australia. He lives in a pretty, you know, warm part, be able to do it, take them outside on the grass and practice it. And then if they go on vacation, they have had that experience and they have that muscle memory and they're able to, like, you know, put it all into action. And that's what, you know, really counts. That's what we will want to have these kids to have these experiences. So as adults, they're willing to try things.
Yeah, that's huge. And I mean, we have certain standards that we have to teach to, right? But look at your standards. You don't have to do the same thing every single time. Look at your standards, unpack your standards, find out what your students need to know, understand and be able to do. And there are many different activities that you can use to reach those outcomes. Many different activities. It doesn't always have to be the same thing. So talk to people, find out what's something different, what's something new that I can show my students so they're experiencing new things. So that when they leave my classroom, they have a better understanding of movement, they love movement, and they want to be able to do it for the rest of their life. Because again, probably I'm a little biased. I think phys ed is a very important subject area. Phys ed and health are so important, right? Of course I'm biased. But if you can't move, your health is your wealth, right? If you can't move, if you can't go and participate in an activity, your friends invite you out and you don't want to go because you don't know how to snowboard, right? That's okay, but if somebody's done something a little bit similar, they might have more of an opportunity to go and try it. They might step out of their comfort zone and just try something new so that they do feel comfortable and confident. You know, it's a social thing too. I don't know, I'm rambling, but I think it's so important.
That's okay, you can ramble. We're ramblers too. So we hope to be able to bring the workshop in action. We're hoping that we'll be able to bring it to the Eastern District this year. And, you know, we do have an application in for the National Shape Conference. So those of you that are here from the United States, hopefully you'll get a chance to see us in action and be able to touch and feel and all that great stuff. So
Yeah, I think once you see the boards in person and you actually have a chance to work with kids on the boards and create lesson plans and go from there, like you kind of see the magic. And it's something about kids getting on that board for the first time, the smile on their face, and they want to go faster and they want to have more challenges and they want to keep pushing themselves. And it's just so amazing to see. And it is brings something out of kids, particularly kids who may be a little quieter, you would think would really like it. Like, oh, that kid is like just doing awesome. So it's just something that it's special and you really get to see it. And I don't want to come across that I don't snowboard. So I never thought I'd be saying this about snowboards. And I actually did take my first snowboard lesson last winter. And it's hard. It was definitely really hard to do. And I think the younger you learn how to do it, the better. Jeff has done an amazing job with his Learn to Ride team of just getting terrain ready to make sure it's age appropriate and that equipment is appropriate. And I really need to stress all the work that he's done, because this has really been his baby that he's kind of dreamed up with his son, Jeffrey. And I want to make sure that he's kind of gets the credit for all the stuff that he's done.
Absolutely.
And to be able to bring something that was primarily an adult sport to kids is really a great thing. You know, the more that we can teach kids things younger, whether they're in school, the better off we are in our world.
Yeah, the things that we can expose them to.
Yeah.
I think I'll add on to it. I think it helps give kids an identity. So before this, I say, hey, who's a skier? Who's a snowboarder? And I get maybe half the class saying, hey, I'm doing this. And a lot of my kids are like, I've never done this. And they didn't see themselves as a skier, snowboarder, or even maybe an athlete. And then 2 years into our ski and snowboard program, if I say, who's a skier, who's a snowboarder, I'm going to have half my kids are going to say, hey, I'm a skier. The other half is going to say they're a snowboarder. And there's no one left out saying, I don't feel like I'm either. That these kids now feel like, as part of their identity, like I am now a skier or I'm a snowboarder. And it helps build that confidence. It helps them kind of get engaged to other aspects of learning in the building. So I feel that part of it has been really beneficial also.
Absolutely. Amazing.
Yeah. And we also want to take a moment to take a shout out to the Phys Ed Summit team at Phys Ed and say thank you for letting us present. And it's been an honor. And please feel free to contact either one of us if you have any questions. We'll lead you in the right direction. And we hope to see you out on the slopes, whether it's a snow slope, whether it's a rainy slope, whether it's a grassy slope,
or muddy slope, anything. Awesome. Thank you so much. Again, and I said this to you before too, we really couldn't do this without the presenters, and we couldn't do this without our attendees, right? We would be talking to a brick wall. So having you here and presenting and sharing some of the things that you've done that have worked for you and for your students is absolutely amazing. Because, you know, I've taken my kids snowboarding, but I've never had the opportunity to actually teach them how to snowboard. So it's really made me think about how I structured things when I was teaching and what I could do a little bit differently to try something new with them. So I really appreciate this session. And I know this is going to have really great replay value for folks that are able to tune in afterwards as well. So thank you so much. We really appreciate all that hard work and planning that you've done for this on your own time, you know, volunteering for this. Absolutely amazing. Thank you very much.
Hey, thanks, Naomi.
Anytime. Don't forget to play it forward.
Playing it forward. Hashtag. See ya.
Thanks, Naomi.
Bye.